Hello YouTube. It is a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can run Python on a Windows computer because I had massive issues with it. And if you're running my program, that's what you'll need to do. So it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Joshua Martin and welcome to my channel in POS. Okay, so go ahead and share my screen. That way you can see all this pretty special stuff. We're going to go ahead and go to the Microsoft Store. So you're going to go ahead and go to Microsoft Store. You're going to go ahead and click up here. You're going to enter Python. And you're going to want to click on the latest update version. So for here, that's 3.13. And you're just going to click Get. So you'll click Install or Get. Okay, I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. But that's how you install it on your Windows computer. If you don't do it this way, it's going to cause some issue where you'll have to enter in a lot of command line in order to actually run it. Okay, now that we've done that, our last video we talked about how to install and unzip a file. So this video, I'm going to go ahead and share with you how to open that file and how you can go ahead and run it on your Windows computer. So to start off with, you're going to go to where you extracted that file. You're going to go to that particular file. And since you've already got Python installed, you're going to go ahead and you're going to open with Notepad. Then you're going to go to where it says I think it's CSV. So right over here, where it says CSV, this portion reads the data from the CSV file and stores it as a data frame. You're going to go to where it says this RC users Joshua project Arduino, and you're going to delete that, and you'll use copy as path on the data you want to take out, and you'll use Control V, and then we'll select File and we'll select Save. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and close this. Now we'll be entering in the Windows PowerShell. Now if you don't see Windows PowerShell instantly, you'll enter it in the search bar. And you'll open it up. And then you should see a screen sort of like this with your username and whatever else. And then you'll type in Python and whatever the program is. So for me, I'm going to copy as path and enter in the path that I'm using. Now that we've done that, we're going to click enter. And this should show up with our GUI. I'm going to wait a minute and I'll talk about that later. But for now, I'm betting all of you users are seeing an error message. That error message should say something about not having a certain something installed. So you're going to go ahead and do what I'm about to do. When my computer can load, you're going to go ahead and take this little command, pip installs pandas matplotlib, and you're going to enter it into here. So you'll click enter, and it should show up with a lot of that code, and then you'll go ahead and redo what I just did. You'll go ahead and enter this Python C users project, and you'll click enter, and it should run. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and go back through that. you'll use pip install pandas, and then you will run the code, the Python file path. Okay. Now that I've reviewed that with you, I'm going to go ahead and show you the important and cool things about this, which is this weather data plotter. You can go ahead and select whatever weather you want, and then you can click plot selected data. And bang, you have a plot of all of these, or a certain number of them. So if you want to compare, let's just say this solar voltage versus the lumens, you can plot that, and you can do different things with it. Now this LV1, LV2, LV3, and LV4, for this data set that I'm giving you right now, it will only show a 1 or a 0. And that's because for the time being, since the water system isn't working, it's just going to be a 1 or a 0. The hardware's messed up, it's not the program. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and look at these other pieces and parts, the important parts. So you see plot humidity, plot wind, and plot solar voltage. First of all, this plot humidity button, this is humidity above 90%. If you know what happens when humidity is above 90%, that's when condensation happens. So for me, I had to take a little bottle of mocha and put ice inside of it and then put some hot water in there, and bang, I put it next to the machine and it said humidity is above 90%. Then you need to plot the wind speed. The reason plot wind speed above 20 miles per hour, that's when they start actually registering it with the weather stations and NOAA, because that's above 20 miles an hour is when you have elevated wind, and I think it's when you get into the 40s or 60 miles an hour that you get into your hurricane classes. So right here you can see it spikes up, and this is only comparing the spikes in the data to each other. So this is all the spikes that we saw earlier. Now we're going to go ahead and go into voltage. So you can see this solar voltage right here. And this solar voltage is important because when it gets stormy, when it gets cloudy, then the voltage will go down. And below 1.2% is when I estimate that clouds will be dark. So there you go. Another important factor of this is if you want to, you can select this and plot the selected data and then save it. And you can save it wherever you want to. My friend Jared said I needed to do that, so I did. So you can do that with everything. Okay, now we'll get into actually deciding and deciphering the code. That's going to be real quick. So let's go in there. So now we're going to go into this beautiful thing right over here. And you're going to open with Notepad. Okay, so first of all, let's import data. Import pandas is the data manipulation analysis. Basically, it allows you to make tables and some limited graphs. It's sorting the data. So import matplotlib, that is the actual graph, because this pandas thing is so limited, then matplotlib is better for the graphing, and that's what we're mainly using for the graphs. Import tinker is the GUI software that we're using. So that makes it nice and beautiful where you can see it on your screen and it's not just text. From take-enter, import ttk, that's the theme. That's like the cover, the paint for the GUI library. Then there's this portion right over here. It reads the data from the CSV file and stores it in the data frame. So file path are CSV, bang. We talked about this earlier. This is what we had to edit so that way it actually run. And then here's the definition of the reading. Now this is the portion that creates the main GUI window and sets the title of said window. So here's the root, and here's the TK. That's saying, hey, go ahead and start the GUI. And then here's the GUI title. This is the segment that creates the label list box for the GUI. That's the columns that we saw. So select data to plot. You can choose multiple, and then it shows the data. This segment right here creates the list box, sets the size and selection type. So if you remember the list box, that's the column box where you can select them. And its selection mode is multiple, so you can select multiple at once. The width is 50, the height is 10. So that's where we saw I was going to show you that, but anyway, the width was 50 and the height was 10. Now, here is the function to plot selected columns. So you'll plot the selected columns, selected indices, and the list box / cure selection. And for I and I, meaning that for the first column, plot that. And if you didn't select a column, then it says no selection made. Okay, plot figure 12,6, that's going to plot that specific figure. For column and selected columns, that's going to plot the columns in each of the selected columns, which in this case, it's all or a certain number. And then this is telling it what the label should be for x-axis and the y-axis, and then the weather data over time is the plot title. And then the plot grid is still there. And then here's the plot button. This actually plots it. So it's just saying, go ahead and plot what you're plotting. And then here's the function to save the current plot. So that's defining the function, and then you're saying it's a global figure. And if the fig is none, then print no plot to save. Otherwise, return and save the plot when clicked. So it'll go ahead and save it to the file plot path of the file dialog that you choose and the default extension. So it's PNG, PNG, JPEG, all files. If the file path is saved, then it'll go ahead and print saved file path. And then here's our function, define humidity above 90%. So it'll filter anything that is above 90% and add the corrected column 9. If it's filtered empty, then it'll say no data with humidity above 90%. And then we'll plot the figure, fig size 12,6. So it's going to go ahead and plot it in that size. And then plot the figured definition of the humidity percentage with the label of humidity. Now we're annotating points for their indices. So the value in enumerant, filtered definition humidity, and plot the text I, value of string I, and front HA right. So it's saying it goes right, and this is where it's plotting them. So that's the top right, the lines column. Now we're going to go over here, and it shows, here's again that plot label, the humidity above 90%. That's just showing us it's plotting above 90%. And then here we go again, and here is the wind, and it's telling you what to filter right here. And if filter is empty, print no data with wind speed greater than 20 miles per hour and return. And then PLT figure and the figure size. So now we'll plot the X label, sample number time, plot the Y label, and then the wind speed. So this is just the wind speed again. And then we're defining the solar below. So below 1.2. So filtered definition, solar voltage, correct column name, if filtered, df empty, print no data with solar voltage 1.2, return. So PLT figure 12,6, that's the size again, plot the filtered solar voltage with the voltage of 1.2. Annotating points with their indices for I, if solar voltage, PLT text value, string, font size. So let's just go ahead and deciding it. Here's the label, length in seconds, humidity above 90%. PLTY label, solar voltage V, solar voltage at or below 1.2, PLT legend, the PLT grid, the PLT show. And then here's the buttons. That's what you actually press for this to activate. And then that's the end. So there you go. I went through line by line. I think that's what you want me to do. It's already a 15-minute video. Okay. Now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can add a file, like I said earlier. So for this, we're going to go ahead and say we're going to add print number 3, so P3. And then we want it to be in a Python format, so we'll change that to .py, and you'll click enter. And we'll say yes. And then we'll go and open it with Notepad, and we'll say print inpos. And then you'll click File, Save, and then you'll exit, and you are going to go ahead and use your command line to copy that file path, and if you haven't already, exit the program we were just in, go into Python, and click enter. So now I just showed you how to use the print command in there. So I showed you how to make a file. I showed you how to download Python and use it. I showed you the important data in my graph, why it's important, and that's what we did. Thank you for watching today's YouTube video. That will be all, and I hope you have a wonderful day.